that nothing has happened with yet. Hey, call them again. Right? Maybe it's referrals that you picked up from clients you've sit down with. Maybe you're brand new. Hey, sometimes it could be your own teammates that haven't sat down yet and put together a plan for themselves. Maybe people you have missed in the past that you didn't close. Or maybe express little interest. Hey, what if something has changed in their life at this point? Then now they see the importance of it. Call them back. You never know. Follow up with our clients. I've been doing a lot of follow up with my clients this week on a personal level. And I sat down with two of them, of which, I had to change some of the beneficiaries in one case because they had a new baby. And I had to sit down with, in another case, I ended up sitting down with a couple who has to make a lot of adjustments in their life because of what happened with COVID and maybe they have to move back to Queens and they have to drive an hour now for work and all that stuff. So I introduced the business again to them. I sent them the video. We set up an appointment with her sister, the wife's sister, right? I got referrals from that, right? This weekend, we're going to catch up about them potentially working with us. There's a gold mine in follow-up. Guys, don't tell me you don't know anybody, man. That's, for all intents and purposes, lazy. Go find somebody then. Utilize all the resources that we now have. You don't understand how much, not that what we do or gaining success here is easy. It isn't. You still got to put in the right work, but it's the process has been simplified. The resources that we have at the tip of our fingers, absolutely ridiculous, Rob. Ridiculous. With the videos and the webinars and, you have obviously your uplines and your downlines. Leverage that. You guys you may be thinking, man, I want to make something happen in the next 10 days, but I still work a lot of hours. That's okay. Leverage your one of the gentlemen, one of my clients that I met up with this week, yesterday, as a matter of fact, he is a car salesman. This guy works 80 hours a week, makes, over 200 grand a year, but he works 80 hours a week. And he started to realize it's hard to keep that up forever. His son, right? He has a daughter who's going to be 15 and a son who just turned 2, same age as my son, right? He goes, I haven't really spent time with him. Fridays is the day he takes off and he tries to spend all day with him, and he understands. He tells me, as I matured in this business, before I had my son, man, I didn't care about working. Now I start to see the difference. So I'm talking to him. He showed interest in working with us. I'm going to get his IBA this weekend. Now, working 60 hours, 60, 80 hours a week is going to be tough for him. Just leverage me. I got you. Just give me the referral. Set up as many appointments on Friday as you can. And if they don't meet on Friday, I got you. I'm working with his wife on maybe she coming on board because, she's at home. And, she still has the baby, of course, so she's going to be busy 24 hours a day. But she has a little bit more ability to get on a Zoom, even if she's still, with the kid at home, with the baby at home. So leverage every resource you possibly can. You have to have a schedule over the next 10 days, a Primerica schedule. One thing I was telling, I forgot who I was talking to on my team, and somebody that ended up quitting, and I'm, kind of talking with them about, they would say they have 2 jobs and, they need to make money and all, that whole thing, most of you have heard it. And I'm talking about going over a schedule, which when we have a job, the first thing we do is they give us what? Our hours. And everything we do revolves around those hours, right? You don't end up getting busy when you have to be at work at 8 o'clock, right? You end up going to work. Nothing changes that. Primerica, people take Primerica and don't look at their schedule the same way. They give Primerica the back end. On Saturday mornings, we have training 9:30 to 10:30 to 11:30. That's the day they schedule an appointment with the doctor. Why? Or your regular training hours, whatever that may be for you and your team. Those are the days you end up doing. You're having to go to get your hair done, having to go to, go on appointments, responsibilities with the family and kids and mom and dad. And why? You can't give Primerica the back end. You can't do that. It has to take precedent. You got to work it like it was a job. It has to be a priority. What is your Primerica schedule? It's only 8 to 10 hours a week. You know what your schedule is for trainings. That's 3 to 4 hours. Block it out. And then look at your schedule with the rest of your responsibilities and block out in red what, making sure you have scheduled 3 to 5 appointments on those time frames. I don't care if it's one day or you split it up in 3 or 4. Doesn't matter. But have a schedule and commit to that schedule, more importantly. Don't give it a second thought, guys. It doesn't work. Imagine if I gave my wife a second thought. No, everything else comes first. No, that's not going to work. That relationship is not going to last long. Right? You have to prioritize. So have a schedule and stick to that schedule. Be accountable to someone daily for the next 10 days. That may be your upline. That may be a partner of yours. That's the one thing Tanya and I are really working hard on now. That's the adjustment in our partnership we're making. And we're not there yet, but we understand how critical it's going to be for us to get it to the next level, for her and I to be on the same exact page. Because she's a freaking absolute stud, man. She really is. And, Shaq always told me, man, and it's just stupid of me. There's an old saying in our business. I think most of you have heard it. You're one recruit away from an explosion. I got my one already, man. And I'm not leveraging her the way I need to. So I've really had, over the last few weeks, long conversations, and man, I think we're almost there as to what our roles need to be and how we can leverage each other the right way. Find someone like that for you, that you can look at each other and say, I'm not going to let you quit. You're not going to let me quit. To give them your goals. Tell them what you plan to do. Show them your schedule. We all need that. If you want to go out and hit 3x3 minimum over the next 10 days. Right now, let's cover, if you have any questions, jump in, guys, but I want to cover some, objections, right? Some things that are going to come up that are going to be of concern. And this is something you can hear in almost every training. Jen Lee, and I get it from Jen Lee and Shay and some of the best trainers in our office, because it doesn't change, right? These are the same 3 objections you're going to constantly get. The more you hear this, the better it is for you guys, right? This part, I want you to kind of just put it into perspective. I think one of the challenges or the things we need to learn, and this happens as you're becoming a pro and you get to the pro level, you have to do a really good job in putting yourself in their shoes. And remember, how you think now for a lot of you, unless you're brand new, but how you think now isn't how you thought before this. How you're able to understand where they're coming from will make you that much better in being able to not change their mind, but provide a different perspective. I don't believe in convincing people. I used to think that, Richard, that my job was to convince you to come work with me, to convince you to get my life insurance policy, to convince you on investing money. The reality is that convincing somebody means you got to change their belief system. And who am I to do that? I don't want to do that for you. I don't want you to do that for me. Instead, what I've learned and what I now teach is how to change the perspective that that person sees that with, or that challenge with. Right? And that's what this is about right here. That's what this objection process is about. So for example, I want to think about it. Right? So look, there's a series of questions that you need to ask. You know, what is it exactly that you need to think about? Is it me? You know, I sat down with a client yesterday with one of my stud agents, Miss Reed, and you know, it was a close, it was a friend of hers. I don't know if it was close, and we're going through this stuff, and she asked me a question when we got to insurance, life insurance. Listen to this, Mama V. She said to me, listen, so I was hoping that I can, you know, cover and get insurance for my mom. And I said, no, absolutely, you know, we can definitely do that. And I didn't know how old she was, Jamaican lady, really nice lady, but she looked like she was in her 40s, right? So her mom, I'm thinking 60 something, right? She said her mom was 86 years old, right? 86 years old, right? Now, everybody knows, right? What does logic tell you? Even if you don't know a lot about life insurance, right? What does it logic tell you?
By that time, you don't need life insurance, or you should already be
not that you don't need it, right? It's not necessarily that you don't need it, is that the likelihood of you being able to get approved is slim to none, if not zero chance, because you're 86. Why? Why won't you get approved at the age of 86, guys?
You're not going to be that healthy. Your health is
life expectancy is about 85. That's the reason why. No insurance company in their right mind would ever cover somebody who's already 85, 86 years old, right? Is that fair to say? So we know that logically. So I said to her in as much of a respectful manner, listen, you know, I don't think we're going to be able to. I'll take a closer look, because I just wanted to kind of, you know, ease the tension there, you know, you know, but I'll, you know, I'm not sure. I don't think that's going to be at this point, probably not even the best situation for you anyway, because even if we were able to get something, in most cases, after the age of 70, most policies you receive in the first 2 years of premium, they'll have something that if the person passed away within that 2-year time frame, all we give you is your premium back. You're not going to get the death benefit. You're not going to get the death benefit. You'll just get your premium back if you pass away within the 2 years. Why do they do that? Because they need at least a 2-year time frame of premium for them to be profitable. And in a lot of cases, the premium is $3 to $5 grand. It's not like it's a lot of money anyway, but they need that premium coming in. So at a minimum, they made an X amount of profit. That is done actuarially. They know the numbers very well. They're not stupid. That's why they set it up that way. Right? That's common sense. Guess what, Mama V? She was upset with me. She like literally upset, and I saw it. It was like the room, not the room, but the Zoom room, let's just call it, got it, you know, and I was in the middle of still, you know, doing my presentation, right? And I like literally, she was very short responses. I had asked her a question just to kind of see where she was. And you can tell she was not even paying attention. Like you can tell. So what did I do? What would you do there?
You stopped the presentation.
And do what?
You tried to feel or get an explanation on why she's feeling that way.
Well, the reason is obvious, and yes, I kind of started alluding to that, but here's what I said to her. I'm not going to give you her name because it's not right, it's not fair, but let's just call her, Lisa. Miss Lisa, you mad at me, aren't you? Why are you mad at me? What did I do to you? Don't hurt the messenger. And I made her laugh. And then I said to her, listen, I want to ask you something. Do you believe that a 40-year-old relative to an 80-year-old has a less likelihood of passing away than an 86-year-old. You know what she said? No, my mom is probably going to live to 100 and plus. Now, obviously, I'm hoping that's the case, and I believe it too, because she said in her family they live to 100. Hey, that's freaking awesome. What does that have to do with my question, right? Right or wrong? That has nothing to do with the question. The likelihood of a 40-year-old relative to an 86-year-old is a lot greater. That's why they're more likely to get coverage. Because I'm trying to talk to her about her getting coverage. She was upset the rest of the time. So what do we do about it? Not much, right? Hey, look, there's not much you can do there, right? Anyway, getting back to this, I don't know, Mama, you got me all off on this tangent. It's your fault. Listen, so in coming back here, right? You want to say, look, is it me? Right? Don't be afraid to ask people that. Is it me? In most cases, they'll tell you no. It might be, right? But in most cases, they'll tell you no. Is it the company? Right? You want to get to the nitty gritty. Do you want, and then you ask, look, the act of protecting your family, is that important to you? Right? Is it actually protecting your family? If you notice every one of these questions, the answer, you're basically coming around to basically say to them, then what is there to think about? It's like, hey, you need to save money. Let me think about that. What is there to think about? Right? And one thing I always add to a lot of this, whenever they tell me whether it's putting the plan together and everything, say, really, when you think about it, would you rather have and make decisions based on the right information, more information or less information? Why don't I put something together, put something in your hands, and now you have something to discuss? Because right now, it's just, you mean to tell me you don't need to save money? You don't need life insurance? You don't have any. You don't have any coverage. So level with me, Mama V, level with me, please. Is it just the money? Right now, it may be the cost. At least you got to the root of the problem. So you have now been able to get rid of this. I want to think about it. Okay, we've just established, no, it's the money. Okay, boom. Now we get to that question. Now that we get to that objection, right? I don't have the money. Okay, look, I understand what you're saying. However, you did mention earlier that you spend $20 a month or a day here. You spend $400 here. You spend a ton of money eating out, right? And that the compound interest page is where you can extract that information that you're going to leverage now. You did mention you waste a lot of money. Remember you said you looked at each other and give that example to them. I said that with one of my good friends from high school. This was years ago, and a detective in New York City, right? Really, really good guy. Has 5 kids, all that stuff when I sat down with him. And he fought me all the way on getting life insurance. You know how I closed him? Literally, I was there for about an hour and a half. Here's what I finally said to him. Look, man, you told me you waste money. Yeah, man, I waste a ton. Why don't we take a look at this? You know, and you mentioned it was something like $500-600 a month. And I said, why don't we do this? Your cost of insurance to insure your family's future is $100 a month. Why don't you take this $100 a month, pay the coverage, and make that and allow that to be an example of you wasting money. Guess what? It'll be the most important money you'll ever waste. And guess what he did? You know what? That makes sense. Where do I sign? That's how I close them. Right? This is about people's perception of things and how you can overcome that and normalize it. Now, I don't want you to spend any more money than what you're already spending. That's not right. I just want you to take some of what you already use and put it to something that is better for your family. Does that make sense? Right? It's a simple way of bringing it forth. You're being very direct in a good way. Does anybody have questions about this specifically?
Would you have recruited Mama V's mom?
Would I have recruited Mama V's mom? What do you mean?
The story that you were telling us before, how the older lady was too old to get life insurance. Would you have tried to recruit her?
In her 80s?
Yeah.
Well, I actually sat down, Mrs. Elliott said, introduced me to a lady who was in her 80s as well. And she was actually in Primerica about 10 years, loved the company. It was all about the company. That's what she sat down with us. Now, I didn't know she was actually that old. And I tried recruiting her. And I mentioned it to her. And I said, listen, man, you come work with us. You already believe in the business. We'll leverage Mr. and Mrs. Elliott, leverage me. We'll help you with everything. And it just didn't happen. Look, it's just not, it's not the market ultimately you want. What is an 80-year-old going to do? Right? And I'm not saying that, please don't misunderstand that statement, but let's be logical here.
I just see it as her being that much older, she just knows more people or seen more people or know more families because she's of that age. I would leverage off
You can
her
also
age.
she is set in her ways.
Or that too, yeah.
You think? Right? So again, guys, look, go for the right, man. Be intentional about recruiting people, man. It's like saying, should I recruit a young man in his 20s that hasn't had a job for 3 years? Hell no. Am I going to give it a shot? But of course I'm going to give it a shot. Maybe this is the thing he's looking for, but I'm not going to sweat it. Why? You're just lazy. You have no disabilities. You're okay. You just haven't worked. You lived at home with your parents. Hey guys, be intentional, man. Stop all this nonsense. Go for more people. Talk to more people. The right ones will emerge. It's a numbers game. And then the last objection, actually, because my laptop died as I was putting it in, let me kind of just go over it with you guys. And we're done, right? Is I want to shop around, right? That's another one. Now, look, that's just a stall tactic, right? It's like thinking about it, right? So look, hey, great. You just want some time to shop around before you make a decision, right? And they'll tell you, I definitely want you to shop around. Now, out of curiosity, when you do shop around, what are you looking for exactly? Right? Now, you may have to ask that again, but ask them, right? Because what do you mean, what am I looking for, right? Because they're really not, right? What exactly are you looking for? One of the things that we help my trainee do, if you're training somebody, is that, I like for them to prepare the information on our end so that if you're shopping around, you will be able to have an apples to apples comparison, right? Which is what you definitely, which is what you would want to do, right? Because look, when people shop around, what are they looking? What is the number one thing they're actually looking at?
Price.
Cool.
Price and quality.
Not quality. They have no idea what quality is. They think whole life is quality. It's not quality. Price, period. Price. Right? They're looking for price. Man, I have you told me my $500,000 in coverage is going to be $80 a month. I got the same $500,000 for $20 a month. It isn't an apples to apples. They have a 10-year level term. I'm giving you a 30. The quality is different. It isn't the same thing. And that's the worst thing you'll be able to get. Right? So you got to attack that before it happens. And then you have to reiterate it, right? Do not compete on cost. We compete on quality. Right? But you can define the quality here. You can define it if they go and compare and go shop around for something else. You got to be able to get it in front of you. Apples to apples. That becomes important. Does that make sense, guys? Awesome. Does anybody have questions? We got about two minutes left. You gotta schedule appointments. Any questions? All right, awesome. Well, guys, thank you again for your time. I apologize for the late start and trying to get all my stuff in order and in place. I apologize for that. 10 days left to hitting 3 by 3,000. Man, go do it. Every one of you can make that happen. 10 days is a lot. 1 by 1 every 3 days. Starts today, 11 o'clock. Go out and set up your week. All right, guys? Awesome. Everybody have a good